It's miserable in a martini, but you can snifter it as a fine brandy because it's rich without harshness. Hello and welcome to My Tiny Bottles, the project where I'm exploring my grandmother's legacy of miniature liquor bottles, one tiny bottle at a time. I'm your host, Tammy Coxon. Bottle number 49 is Ouzo by Metaxa, and this tiny bottle has definitely seen better days. The label is super dirty and was falling off. Someone tried to tape it back on, but crookedly. Poor little bottle. I wrote all about Ouzo and how it's made in bottle 20, Butari Ouzo. The short version is that it's a distillation of anise seed, which gives it a strong licorice flavor and a distinct sweetness, even when there's no actual added sugar. There are usually other botanicals used for flavoring, and in the case of Metaxa's Ouzo, the company's website mentions iris flower and mastic, which is an aromatic resin from a Mediterranean tree. Other than that, there's not really a lot out there about Metaxa's Ouzo. There is, however, a lot out there about Metaxa. Metaxa is both a company and a name for a Greek spirit. When it was first launched by Spiros Metaxa in 1888, it was called cognac. Then, presumably as a result of those key paragraphs in the Treaty of Versailles that I talked about in bottle 15, Asbach Uralt Brandy, they could no longer use the name cognac and switched to calling it brandy. But now they can't even use that term because Metaxa isn't really brandy either. So what is it? It's a blend of muscat wine with added distilled grape spirits, flavored with various botanicals and aged. To be called brandy, it could only be the distilled spirits themselves. Now, I've not tried it myself, but according to some great vintage ads on the company's website, it's miserable in a martini, but you can snifter it as a fine brandy because it's rich without harshness, or sip it as a liqueur because it's smooth but not sticky. It's certainly been popular for a long time all around the world, and apparently appreciated by royalty. Both the old Metaxa bottles and my Ouzo bottle have seals on the label representing royal warrants from the King of Greece and the late King of Serbia. Which King of Serbia? I have not been able to find out. And even though Greece abolished the monarchy in 1973, the seals struck around at least into the 80s. Metaxa, the company, has probably been making Ouzo in Greece for a long time, but it seems like it wasn't exported very much until the 1970s. At least that's when newspaper mentions of it in the US and Canada pick up. That also matches the Canadian trademark filing I found with a very similar label design from 1977. I'm going to put 1974 as a start date for this Canadian bottle since its label is in English and French, and that's when the Dual Language Act passed. For an end point, I think I can narrow it down to before 1987, based on a pair of print ads from 1982 and 1987, where the Ouzo label changed in between. There is a non-zero chance that there's some actual Metaxa somewhere in this collection, and if that happens, I'll have to find another story to tell you about it. Meanwhile, I've just got another licorice-flavored liqueur to not look forward to. But I'll tuck it away with the Butari and bring both of them when I finally go on my bucket list trip to Greece. Are you a Metaxa fan? Or a Metaxa Ouzo fan? Or a Metaxa hater? Drop a comment below and hit the subscribe button while you're there. Check out mytinybottles.com for more about the project and the bottles, and follow me on @mytinybottles on social media. Thanks for watching. Cheers!